Hi, everyone. Good evening, friends, and a warm welcome to all of you from India. Friends who have joined from outside India, a very, very warm welcome to you. We have a very special occasion today. This is the first time in the last 23 years any deafblind organization from India has actually got the opportunity to host the side event. And we are very proud that we could do it thanks to all the inputs from my young colleagues, Asha, Shruti, Deepak, and Parag, for making sure that we could reach here. I would like to extend a very warm welcome, first of all, to our friend, philosopher, and colleague from Bangladesh, Mr. Noman Khan, who is with us, who is a Magsaysay Award winner. We are actually in August company today.
Yeah.
We are waiting for a few more friends to join. And hopefully, because this is the evening time, people are taking time to reach home and then probably they will join. But today, the UN has decided to commemorate 4th as the day to celebrate International Day of People with Disabilities. And we are actually first one in the morning, even from the US standard, the UN standards. First thing in the morning, we are doing this side event, which is a great occasion for all of us. And we have a good agenda as well. And I'm just waiting for some more friends to join. We have got 19 so far here on the Zoom. And if somebody can share with me how many are there on the YouTube, live YouTube. Can anybody share?
Deepak will check and let you know. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing the agenda, Uttam. How many have joined in the YouTube?
Right now,
13 people.
Okay. I think it's 5 minutes over. I think we can start if everyone agrees, or we can wait for some time, 5 more minutes if.
We should wait for some more time, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay. Noman, that's okay?
that's okay. I think we can wait for 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we are also going to have KP joining in from
Okay,
Nepal.
That's good. Yeah.
And yeah, please go
In the
ahead.
meantime, Shiv, there is a request to spotlight the sign language interpretation and the speaker.
Actually, there was a traffic jam today when I was returning home. So Nomanda, what happens is 9 o'clock sharp in the night, Ahmedabad goes under curfew. So
Okay.
there's heavy rush
Ah,
on the road for people to return home before 9. So I left office 6 o'clock today. Normally it takes about 20 minutes for me to reach home. Today it has taken more than 40 minutes. There's so much of
yeah.
traffic.
What is the reason for this curfew?
Uh,
Is this for
curfew is,
COVID?
curfew is the treatment for COVID, the spread of COVID.
Right, right. I think it should be everywhere. Once
Yeah,
we had the lockdown and other precautions also, now this is open. This has
yeah.
become very open. And this is unfortunate for every day the number is increasing, death is also increasing.
Uh,
We don't know where we are going.
yeah, very true. Very true.
You know.
So this is and very funny when people actually they understand what is going on. Still, they don't want to take the
Right.
precautionary measures. They don't want to follow uh, the physical distancing, mask. I don't know why. Anyway, so this side event is on the 13th session of the Conference of Parties on the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And this particular side event is on ensuring inclusion of persons with deaf blindness. Uh, when we proposed this side event, we were thinking that all of us will be able to join in. When I say all of us, I mean all the colleagues who are in Bangladesh, Nepal, and India to give a unified picture that what has changed for deafblind people in the last few years. So India is going to concentrate on its journey of the last 23 years, and Bangladesh is going to talk about last 14, 15 years, and
Yeah.
Nepal about last 5 years. So that's what we are going to talk about. There will be little bit of presentations, and also there will be our young deafblind adults will be going to make their speeches that what they feel has happened for them in the last few years being deafblind. What are their expectations? Are they satisfied? What are their dreams? What they want? So they are both uh, Asha and Shruti, who are actually a celebrity for UN. Asha actually won the United Nations Data Forum video contest. She came in the first three, so three winners were there. Asha was one of them. And Shruti made the intervention, 3-minute intervention in the round table on the first when the conference of parties started, the state parties started. So this is mainly what we want everyone who will join to say, and we want to convey that we are following Leave No One Behind as one of the SDGs, as one of the goals. And deafblind people are one of the more furthest out of any development, any inclusion. So we want that nobody should leave behind a deafblind person. That's the theme we are trying to follow. And when we started our work in India in 1997, there was only one service available in the country. And that too was in Bombay, Mumbai. It was a school set up by a dear friend, an inspiring lady called Mrs. Beroj Vacha. Unfortunately, we lost her a few years back, but she was the pioneer in terms of deafblind services in the country. And in 1970s, she was starting in Mumbai, and there was another phenomenal lady in Chennai, Dr. Leelavati Patrick. She was starting in Madras, in Chennai. One was school for deaf, both were schools for the deaf, where blind children with blindness also came in, and both of them got this vision of starting service for deafblind. So they didn't know about each other when they started. So what a phenomena. And both these organizations are stalwarts. We have our colleagues from Clark School for the Deaf in Chennai who are here, and also some of our colleagues from Helen Keller Institute for Deaf and Deafblind. So these were the only two organizations. First, Helen Keller Institute, second, Clark School. And they were catering to altogether about 30 deafblind children in their institutes. So when we started, the big dilemma was, should Sense International India set up a school? Or what should we do? There were many suggestions coming in that Sense International India should hire a car, drive around country, count each deafblind person, and then decide what they want to do. So I thought that with this suggestion, it will take years to count every deafblind. Even today, after 23 years, we are not able to count. With all the resources and the might Government of India has, they have not been able to count deafblind people. So we thought that that's not a good idea. The better idea is that we start working with other organizations who are working with other kind of disabilities, make them aware, influence them to start services for deafblind. That's how we started. And first we thought that let's start with three models. One, a home-based model, a CBR, or one center-based model, and one particularly very, I would say, urban kind of model in slums. So we chose Mumbai, rural Gujarat, and Delhi. That's how we started our three major programs. And we found out that the needs are numerous. Our models were just for those three locations, and we wanted something bigger. So we started going out and scouting, looking for partners all over India who were willing to set up and start working for deafblind. So over the last years, one side, we have been concentrating on having at least two new states to come into our work for deafblind, our network. And on the other hand, we thought that we also need to work with the government proactively, make sure that the policy atmosphere is created. So that's how we have reached. So from one service to now, 23 years after, we have more than 55 partners, and 23 states we are reaching out, more than 100 districts of the country we are reaching out in India. So this has been the journey, and all through the big achievements and things to celebrate, my colleague Uttam is going to share. So I hand over my mic to Uttam, who is our Director of Programs. Uttam, please.
Thank you very much, Akhil, for this brilliant introduction to what and how we started our work in India. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to run through some of the things what Akhil already said. Might be a kind of repetition, but I'll try to run through how we started our work in India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. And as Akhil said, there are speakers from Bangladesh and Nepal as well to share what is happening in the respective countries. Parag, next slide, please. So Parag, you need to start you get into the presentation mode because it's side slides are also showing. Yes, thank you very much. So if we look at India, as Akhil said, till 1997, we had very limited awareness about deaf blindness, so much so that we didn't even
Deepak,
know how many persons with deaf blindness are there in the country. We still don't know. We still want to know the realistic figure. But that time, situation was much more severe. Uh, Only 23 persons with deaf blindness, and they were young children at that time, who were receiving some kind of support in India, in Mumbai, which was run by late Biroz Bacha. And that's what the only kind of intervention was happening in India at that time, before 1997, when Sense India was set up. Neither the government nor NGOs, they did not know about whether deafblind population even exists in the country. So whatever the force was coming to initiate the services was initially through Helen Keller Institute and the Clark School in Chennai. But there was not much awareness about the condition in the country. Parag, next, please. So, and most of the time, these children with deaf blindness, they were there, but they were mostly being misdiagnosed as children with intellectual disabilities. So they were mostly into the setup where children with intellectual disabilities uh, were given education. Schools for deafness and school for visual impairment, they did not cater a lot about this population, because teaching method did not suit the need of children with deaf blindness. So they were more like being supported by schools for intellectual disabilities. In 1994, Sense International in UK, they decided to set up their international department, and Sense set up international department in 1994 as Sense International, and an international department started their first work in India in 1997, and that's how the entire strategy for education of children with deaf blindness started in India. So it was our aim to support development and establishment of more services like national level assessment. That's what Akhil already explained in his opening remark, where we wanted to understand how these children will be supported. Human resource development, uh, develop networks of families, because the families, they were living in isolation, and they had to come together to support the needs of persons with deaf blindness. Advocacy, so like working with government to ensure that deaf blindness are reflected in various government policies. So those kind of work was done. Initially, we started taking up in India. We were succeeded in initiating first teacher training course, and it's a government of India body called Rehabilitation Council of India. They gave us approval to initiate teacher training program in year 2000, and that was our major advocacy success, because that time even Disability Act did not talk about even multiple disabilities that time. Government of India gave approval to run a course on deaf blindness. So that was a major advocacy success. And we continued our lobby with Government of India, various ministries, especially with Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment and Human Resource Development, which is now called as Ministry of Education. So that we started doing, and vice versa. We also we continued working with various state government. If you understand India, there are the federal structure is such that there are central government, and there are various state governments which lead the policy, which control the policy. And disability being a state policy, we had to work with state government as well to ensure that deaf blindness are reflected in their state disability policy. So states like Chhattisgarh, Meghalaya, Bihar, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Meghalaya gave us the lead. And we also worked with Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, Education for All program, which did spoke about education of children with deaf blindness. So in that we started working, and the state of Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, and Bihar, they gave us lead in including deafblindness as a major chapter in their master trainers manual. So that's how we started, if you like, from human resource to policy level to education level. So that's how we started getting into that, and then we saw major success in year 2016 when deafblindness got included in Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, and it was followed based on UNCRPD, which specifically talks about needs of persons with deafblindness. So it was a major advocacy tool for us, and these successes, whatever we did. So working with government was one aspect, and working with major players who are providing resources to support this kind of work. We also worked with them, and we were successful in getting support from DFID, Rangoonwala Foundation, European Union, Azim Premji philanthropic initiatives, and there are many more who came. And to make it more decentralized reach, we established 5 regional learning centers who are playing role of as a kind of mini Sense International India. So that's how the services. I think Akhil has already explained about various models that we follow in services. That's how we have moved to establishing 5 regional learning centers, and our reach is as of now in 23 states, through which we are supporting 88. We have supported till now 88,000 persons with deafblindness across all these 23 states. Next slide, Parag. So we took up this learning to our neighboring countries, especially our internet more intense in Bangladesh and Nepal. Having said that, we have trained teachers in Sri Lanka and Maldives and Malaysia. So there have been various countries where we have provided our with whom we have shared our expertise. But looking into the South Asia thing, we had major success with second Asian DBI conference in January 2006 in Bangladesh. And from there, we got our first opening in Bangladesh, where government of Bangladesh was keen to initiate services for deafblindness in Bangladesh, and Center for Disability in Development, from whom you will be listening very soon. They become major lead to initiate the work in Bangladesh, and we set up Deafblind National Resource Center, and in 2008, and in Bangladesh, and then in Nepal in 2017. So Nepal is relatively new, but our intervention has started there as well. So we supported both the countries in terms of building capacity through exchange visits, capacity building, various capacity building initiatives, and whatever reading and reference materials we have developed in India was shared with them. In these 2 countries, we have reached out to more than 1,500 persons with deafblindness, and the number is increasing day by day, considering that it's a smaller countries, and the population is relatively smaller than India. The reach is as per that. You will be happy to know that both these countries were they had already recognized deafblindness as a distinct disability. Nepal was, I think, way ahead in 2013 itself. In Bangladesh, 2013 itself, they had recognized deafblindness, and Nepal in 2017. And before that, I think even in the draft they had included deafblindness. So they were ahead of India in terms of recognizing the needs of persons with deafblindness. Now we are again taking learning from India. We are moving ahead in setting up regional resource centers in both these countries. Where in Nepal, Bangladesh, we have already started. In Nepal, we will be taking up at the next phase. And we are also supporting with the human resource development, where in our teacher training centers, teachers from Bangladesh and Nepal are being trained. So that's the briefly that we have done in South Asia. And so that's from me. Thank you very much, Akhil.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Uttam, for bringing things in perspective in terms of India is concerned. And now the success doesn't come only by services. I think advocacy plays a lot of role. And from day one, we used to gate crash. We used to go into meetings of government, even if we were not invited. We would go and talk about deafblind. We will go and ask them for 5 minutes and discuss, tell them a story about deafblind. So that's how we started our advocacy. And to talk more about advocacy, I would request my colleague Parag, who is head of advocacy and networks. He's going to talk about nothing about us without us and empowering through networking. So over to Parag. And Parag, uh, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. A very good morning, friends, and a very good evening from here in India. Uh, just as we are holding this side event, it's a privilege to be part of sharing our experiences on the sidelines of Conference of State Parties. We are thankful to UN and their Economic and Social Council for giving us the special consultative status. And as a result, here we are today holding our first side event. Uh, if we talk about uh, inclusion, so inclusion for us has happened through empowerment of our stakeholders, our primary stakeholders. uh, Nothing about us without us. This is something which CRPD and SDGs talk about very strongly. And since International India as an organization realized it way back in 2000, year 2000, when in a regional conference, group of parents of children with deaf blindness, they came and shared their need to come together again and again and share their experiences with each other, because that was what was empowering for them. And from there, our journey began, where we made sure that all the family members of persons with deaf blindness are engaged. We constantly make efforts at all levels, uh, holding meetings at local level, at state level, at national level, to ensure that all these network members, the national networks which we created year 2000 onwards, we ensure that along with the family members, we also create a network of professionals who are there to support persons with deaf blindness and the persons with deaf blindness themselves, the adults with deaf blindness who are ready to come forward and talk about their needs, their rights, and responsibilities. So these three networks were put in place as registered bodies, and over the years they have grown by leaps and bounds. The group of national group of family members, it has more than 1,500 members as of now, and they keep on meeting each other through national, state level, and local level interventions. And they come together to share, to empower themselves, and to represent persons with deaf blindness. At the same time, persons with deaf blindness themselves, which is a very, very challenging group to bring together and to ensure their empowerment, they again have come together very strongly. We have more than 200 members of this network, and two of them today will be meeting you later in this session today. So briefly, if I say that has happened through empowerment of our stakeholders, they were invisible and now they are included. There are so many examples. Some achievements Uttam just shared with you, that how we got recognition in our National Disability Act, how we could ensure that The rubella vaccination is there in the national vaccination policy, and so many other achievements. But I have specifically tried to highlight here our engagement with the Election Commission of India. This whole initiative began around year 2017 when Election Commission put the annual theme of making elections accessible. And in their initiative, they created a partnership core group of civil society in which Sense India was also invited. And through this initiative of Election Commission, we could ensure that over a period of time, we were able to engage with the Election Commission on various occasions. We could ensure that they pass an order to all their state chief election officials to do awareness campaigns with our partner organizations across all the 27 states where we work. And that initiative resulted in 2018 and 2019, all the elections, we were able to engage so many youngsters to be able to access this platform, to be able to come forward and use the facilities provided by the Election Commission and to vote for their basic right to vote. So there are so many instances where, impact of empowering stakeholder we have seen. But then this has happened by creating that support system, which is the parents group, the professionals group, engagement with the government officials, with the government agencies, and ensuring that they are also included. Nothing happens without their participation. So, friends, you will get to hear more from the self-advocates themselves later today. I would like to just emphasize on the fact that the ultimate goal of all of this initiative is to ensure that persons with deafblindness are also counted. And this we have to do together. So that's all from my side in this short presentation. I would like to hand it over to my colleague Sachin, who will emphasize on how technology is an enabler. So over to you, Akhil sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Parag. And before Sachin comes in, I would like to recognize the presence of some of the very key people who have helped Sense International India, and also our work in Nepal with Center for Disability and Development, and our consortium of NGOs in Nepal with NDFN, the National Deaf Federation of Nepal there. So first, I would like to recognize presence of, my colleague Elizabeth, even Liz, we call her Liz from Sense International, because the work for Sense India started in 1997 with the active support of Sense International and Sense from UK. So we are very grateful to Sense International for the support they have given all these years. And at the same time, I would also like to recognize a colleague from Perkins International, Paige Clothesman. She is there in the audience. So welcome, Paige. We have worked very closely with Perkins and the experts from Perkins. They have trained many of our partner organization staff, and they have trained. I was one of Perkins trainee myself way back in 92, 93. So they have done a lot of work for this region in terms of persons with visual impairment and multiple disabilities. So I welcome Paige as well. We are living in an era where physical face-to-face meetings are past, the things of the past. Now we are moving forward. We are using new technologies. We are using new platforms, new equipment. So to share how deafblind people actually fared and communicated, remain in contact with others, how their social networking happened, I would request my colleague Sachin, who is himself an expert in technical things, in technology, and he is heading our capacity building team in Sense India. So over to Sachin to talk about technology as a great enabler.
Yeah, thank you very much. And good evening to all. Good afternoon. Good morning to everyone. I would like to speak on topic technology is a great enabler for persons with deaf blindness and taking the theme leaving no one behind. Okay, so when we say that leaving no one behind in terms of persons with deaf blindness, we have to understand the basic thing of what deaf blindness is. So if I say what is deaf blindness is, so deaf blindness is a combination of vision and hearing impairment. And if we find a person with deaf blindness, then they face lot of issue and challenges regarding communication, education, and orientation and mobility. So when I'm talking about technology, so I will be mainly relating it with the communication part. So as you know, that persons with deaf blindness need lot of information from the outside world to understand what is going out there. Technology being one of the key factor in their life helps them to receive information from the outside world. So there are a lot of technologies these days which helps people with deaf blindness to enhance their communication skills and information from the outside world. So recently, during the pandemic situation, it has been a blessing with this in disguise for people with deaf blindness. There has been a lot of innovations. There have been a lot of creative ideas in reaching out to people with deaf blindness in terms of accessing information from the outside world. So I would like to start from the government initiative, mainly related to Indian government. So the Indian government started an app called Arogya Setu, where we could and download the application from the Google Play Store, and then we could register it, and it would give us the clear picture of who all are there in our surrounding who has been COVID affected. So people with deaf blindness also could use that application and understand that who all are there in their surrounding. However, that application did not show who were recovered. It only showed the infected person. Okay. There were other technologies which were used during the pandemic situation and even before also, but during the pandemic situation it was more applicable. So like we did a lot of online monitoring of the family members. We also did a lot of training for persons with deaf blindness and the family members. We have two online courses on deaf blindness, one for caregivers and one for educators. So that was uh, uh, a lot of being in use during the pandemic situation. Uh, we also tried the on-site training. Earlier, we used to visit the site physically, but during the pandemic situation, we did online trainings, or we did online on-site and monitoring programs. Uh, we also did online activities for our partner organization. The entire work which were being done physically shifted to work from home, and the educators, the caregivers, the parents, the CBR workers, they tried to follow it up from the home-based online mechanism. The educators tried to sort of do one-to-one interaction with people with deaf blindness and students with deaf blindness through online application as well. Yeah, next slide, please. You'll be happy to know that in the rural areas, people face a lot of difficulties in buying the smartphones, because as you know that some of the rural areas, the parents were not able to afford smart phones, but the work had to continue. Therefore, what we did is we tried to uh, request the neighbors in lending their phones, and you know the work was in continuing. So the educators, they tried to contact to the neighbors, and the neighbors lended their phone to the parents, and then there was constant communication happening with the parent, caregiver, and uh, the student. And again, it was a very nice use of technology. It was very low cost and cost effective as well. Apart from that, people with deaf blindness also use a lot of other technologies, assistive technologies like refreshable braille displays, to communicate with each other and to exchange information from one place to another, or one person to another. I will also be like to share that there was a there was an app which was recently launched in association with Sense International India and Samsung people. So this application is called Good Vibes app, and the Good Vibes app is basically uh, uh, linked with the Morse code. So a person with deaf blindness can send message using the Morse code and read the message using the Morse code with the help of vibration. So the person with deaf blindness can receive the message, and the message will vibrate, and through the sense of touch, they will be able to communicate. So you'll be happy to know that there are around 70 people with deaf blindness in India, and lot more in other countries who are practicing the Good Vibes application, and they are able to communicate. Uh, we also try to use the online sign language interpretation as well as the online captioning as well for people with deaf blindness, so that there is a continuous exchange of message between the caregivers, the educators, and the parents. Uh, in regards to the official work and the documentation part, we did a lot of uh, documentation uh, with in association with the Google Drive. So a lot of documentations were stored in the Google Drive, and it was accessible to a lot of people from all over the country and other outside countries as well. We also used a lot of awareness support through online medias like social medias, Facebook, and other applications. We also produce a lot of videos to create awareness on COVID and other issues as well. The entire shift of accounting system also went online. Earlier, we used to do the cash transactions. I mean, the online, the banking system was again uh, through one-to-one basis through banks. Okay, so during this pandemic situation, the entire accounting system went through online. So we have the salary through online accounting system, banking system, uh, uh, everything, whatever is there in terms to accounting system went to online, and lot of human resources and capacity building of the human resources went through online system. So we organized a lot of webinars. I'll be happy to share that we organized around uh, 11 to 12 webinars in terms of building capacity of people with deaf blindness, the educators, resource teachers, and it was a very, very grand success in terms of reaching out to people. Other initiatives to get in touch with students with deaf blindness were the online reporting system, the online courses, and we also try to set up a timetable, which was also again basically meant during the uh, pandemic situation, because it had to relate with the ongoing IPs. So the timetable which we sort of produced during the online had a very direct connection with the IPs, and that was being followed through online mechanism only. So all the reporting system which the educators did, they created a weekly report, they created a monthly report, and that reports were uh, sent through the Google Drive to their line managers or to the coordinators. So the entire system during the pandemic situation shifted to online mechanism, and there was a continuous communication between the students with deaf blindness, adults with deaf blindness, their parents, their caregivers, and the organizations who were supporting or providing support in terms of rehabilitations or other things, or educations. So uh, yeah, so this is how we try to sort of make the best use of technology during the pandemic situation, and it has given us a very good learning on how we can continue the use of technology in the coming days also, for people with deaf blindness and for us also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sachin. And uh, today is a great day for Sachin as well. Today is his birthday, so please
Yeah.
do wish him a very happy birthday. You can wish him in chat box. He's sitting in Sikkim at home, enjoying the lovely weather in Sikkim.
Good.
So
Thank
once
you.
again, a happy birthday, Sachin. Thanks a lot. Um, Quickly moving on to something which is even more important when we look at deaf blindness in Bangladesh. And uh, I call Mr. AHM Noman Khan as Noman Da, means big brother.
Yeah.
And I also would like to recognize presence of another big brother sitting who is elder to Nomanda, is amongst us, Dr. Bhushan Punani. He
Oh.
is former chair of Sense International India and a big supporter of Sense India from the time, even before Sense India was registered as an organization. He has been supporting Sense International in setting up services and setting up Sense India. So I recognize Dr. Punani's presence and welcome him as well. So over to Noman Bhai, who is our Magsaysay Award winner. Not many people in the disability sector have that Magsaysay Award. So a big pride we have in Nomanda. Nomanda, please share your views. Thank you very much. And I also recognize he is being supported through two of his very good colleagues, Sajjad and Ishrat. Nomanda.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Okhilda. I really feel very comfortable to talk on these brain issues when our Indian friends are with us. So it's a very good evening for me, and I'm enjoying the session very much. So I feel really happy to see Bhushanji is with us. Namaste, Bhushanji. Before going to my presentation, just I would like to congratulate our two friends, Shruti and Asha, for their wonderful representation in UN platform to showcase the capacity of the deafblind people. This is what actually, this is what is the advocacy, this is what showing the result, this is what the process since International India is following. before starting my discussions on how to include development issues in development programs, I would like to introduce my organization a little bit. My organization is Center for Disability and Development. That means that we work for inclusion of disabled peoples into mainstream development. So I have to point out one of the history that how I have become part of the development issues. Uh, I should recall that. In fact, I started my journey with the disability sector from 1994. So before that, I spent almost 25 years in multi-sectoral development programs, where I worked with the multi-sectoral development issues for the poorest. But I did not think about disability. So in 1994, I came across with disability situations, and I just started my career, switched over my career to stand beside the persons with disabilities. So gradually, we try to raise these issues of disability concern and to promote these issues of mainstreaming disability issues so that all disabled people can get access to their basic services and to establish their own potentialities into their families, into their society, into the nations also. So I worked for more than 6, 7 years, and we are getting confidence on that we can stand beside the persons with disabilities. I got an invitation from Sense India. That was back in 2002. That was a conference, Asian conference on deafblind issues. So when I got the invitation, I was very confident that yes, we can participate and we can contribute as because we are working with the deaf people and we are working with the blind people also. So with that, I personally attended the conference, and in the first day opening session, that changed my all confidence that what we are doing about and what we are not covering up. I saw about 6, 7 deafblind people are talking in the opening session of the conference. I could not even understand that who are they and who is talking and how they are covering. And then I got the sense of they are the deafblind people. It's a deaf, not the deaf people, not the blind people. They are together. That was a big surprise for me that we are feeling confidence on working with disabled peoples, but we don't know the deafblind issues. That was the big challenge that I just came back from India with a strong determination that we have to think about and we have to find out and we have to stand beside this group of people. So that was the milestone that we started interventions in Bangladesh. And then after coming back, we were thinking about that how to get in. So that we are talking with the Indian counterpart, and we had quite a good linkage with Akhil Dea, with Bhushan Punani and other colleagues in India. Then we made a study, situational analysis study, that was back in 2004. That we tried to go to the people where they live and find out their situations, that how they are continuing and how they are facing their consequence. That initiated, that just resulted to think more about us, because that was a big mistake that we did not think it, we did not see the situation of deafblind people in the country, and they're the most and most suffering group of people in the disability sector. Then we started pilot program in 3 locations that let us try, and let us try to stand behind that. And immediate after that, we had some sort of a partnerships with Sense International India, Sense India, and Sense International. So that immediate after that, from 2008, we have initiated a structured program so that we can stand beside deafblind people in a systematic way, with the intention that the deafblind people should be considered as the priority types of disabilities in the total disability sector. Then after a few years, even for the following years also, from 2009 to 2013, we had gained a lot of experiences that we can identify deafblind peoples and we can have some role even to stand beside. What we did after that we established a National Resource Center in 2009 and in Bangladesh, that was established in Dhaka city. And then we started covering almost 16 districts so that we can work with the deafblind people. And we find that it works, and it can, as because if we can reach to them, there are way, and that was the learning from India basically, as because we didn't have any sort of skills and knowledge on deafblindness, and everything we had to borrow from India, and we are really grateful that the Sense India extended all support, all out support, including Sense International, to strengthen the capacity of Center for Disability and Development to stand beside persons with deafblindness. And gradually we have initiated, and we have covered up 16 districts in Bangladesh, covering 5 divisions, and we have initiated 3 more regional resource centers, because gradually the number is increasing and we have to provide support. It is not possible from a national level resource center. So we have initiated 3 more regional centers where we used to provide supports to the local partners. We made a partnership with 10 local organizations so that we can reach, we can initiate the services from their proximity. And we started at the same time collaboration with the government also, as because we should get involved with the tertiary level to grassroots level. Tertiary level, basically that was for advocacy for inclusion of deafblind issues in the disability priorities, disability policies, disability legislations. So this is the beginning of our interventions in Bangladesh context. And in what areas we have initiated, the areas of interventions we have initiated, that I said that establishment of National Resource Center and the regional resource centers, established 3 regional resource centers. Then screening and identification, gradually we have started increasing the number, as because wherever we extend the coverage in villages and in districts, we find quite a huge number of people, and then the number is increasing. We improved, we initiated the basic health services also, as because there was a big requirement for basic health services, and we tried to cover up as much as possible for basic health services for the deafblind people. What is that? What is already mentioned by Okilda in his initial statement, that community-based services has to be there, as because this is very difficult to bring them to a center, rather than the center services has to be sent back to their proximity and their home. So that is what is only possible way to address the needs of deafblind peoples, to send services to their doorstep. After few years, that we find that this is very possible even to include them in education, and we have started enrolling in the educational institutions, particularly in the primary educations and the non-formal education also. And gradually we have extended that in as because in course of time they have completed their primary education, they have moved to secondary educations, and now we have people, even those who are involved in secondary educations also. For the deafblind adult people, we find there is way for their skill development, and we tried our best even to provide and come out with the process of how to increase the skills of the persons with deafblindness, so that they can be involved in economic empowerment, they can be involved in income generation activities, and that works. Then we had all-out effort even to document that, what is the inclusion process we are following, so that you can disseminate that through other agencies and other partners. We developed lots of IEC materials so that people can use that for awareness building and for identification and for further development. The sector-wise inclusion, if I say that there are a few sectors that home-based services is one of the key services and priority services that the field workers and the field educators, they should go to the field, and we have covered almost close to 1,000 people with their home-based services also, and they are regularly doing it, and we got very comfortable feedback that they can cover it up.
Nomanda,
yes, please.
Can you finish in 2 minutes, Nomanda, please?
Yes, sir. Okay, just
Thank you.
check. Yeah. So uh, we just involved quite a good number of people, so around 300 people in income generation activities and other activities, and we formed groups of the parents also in 8 districts so that they can share it each others. So advocacy activities, what he did, the major advocacy activities, that inclusion of deafblind uh, as a unique category of disability in uh, Rights and Protection of Persons with Disabilities Act 2013. This is, we can claim that we had advocacy to the government to include that in the disability law, and uh, we are lobbying, and we had advocacy to and we have some memorandum of understanding and agreement with the government institutions even to provide skill training and to provide even loan for their income generation activities, and we find that they can get access to the government institutions, and they can get access to the government credit facilities also. Learning, just I can very shortly I can say that people, persons with deaf blindness are not just the support receiver; they can be contributor also. If you can intervene in the early stage, that can reduce lots of our interventions, and that could be easy even to follow it up in the further course of action. There are lots of challenges we find. This is what the similar challenges, that it's very difficult even to continue the work, and as because in education programs, teachers continuation is one of the barrier, and lack of local and national funding is a big barrier also. Dependency on foreign donation is still very big dependency for the NGOs. Altogether, we find quite many challenges, but there are way to overcome those challenges. And still now we are working close to 1,400 development families directly from the project, and indirectly we have included this concept to other projects of CDD, so that every project can look after the deafblind peoples when they provide services to the other type of disabilities. So this is what that we face some challenges and overcome also. In future, we think that this is very possible to expand these services to the country, and basically the challenges we face when the development issue is clear to peoples and development actors, that becomes little easy even to cover it up. So altogether, we are very ambitious that the development issues will be gradually covering up the whole country, and the development peoples will be counted from the government interventions also. So whatever we do, basically we are implementing everything with the total technical assistance from Sense India and Sense International. So I really thankful to the colleagues and friends who are from Sense International India and Sense International UK for their great support to CDD to work for deafblind people. Now the government is also considering, and government is also coming up with interest even to think about deafblindness as a unique category of disability. So I don't want to make my speech longer. I would like to thank again and again, and I'm really happy to get the scope to participate in such a very important discussions with you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Noman Bhai, and I'm really sorry for interrupting you and requesting you to finish in 2 minutes. The work that CDD does in Bangladesh with deafblind people is enormous, and there's so many things they're doing. They're innovating all the time, and it will take almost whole day if Nomanda sits and starts to explain how he has unlocked many big, huge chains to free up people with deaf blindness. So we're grateful to you, Nomanda, for your
Thank you.
submission,
Thank
and
you
I'm
very
sure
much.
that there will be an opportunity that we'll be, sharing this in detail. Thank you very much for
Sure.
your time.
Thank
Now,
you.
from one side of India, we go to top of India, the land of Himalayas, where the deaf-blind people there are also waiting for services. They have been waiting for long. Many I would say small efforts have taken place over the years, over the last 10, 15 years. Many organizations tried to set up, they did set up, but things did not take the momentum they should have. And now I would request my dear friend KP Adhikari, who is the president of National Federation of the Deaf Nepal, and also the lead member who is running the deafblind program at the moment in the National Resource Center in Nepal, to share his status, what is happening in Nepal. So Mr. KP Adhikari is going to use his interpreter, and with him there is his right hand, or the man Friday, is Sanu, who is also coordinating the deafblind program. So I recognize his presence as well. Over to KP.
Namaste and good evening. First of all, I would like to congratulate Sense International India for hosting this site event. So I think this is a great achievement. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be part of this site event. I would like to wish happy birthday to Sachin. I've seen his birthday in Facebook page as well. So he's a very good campaigner on deafblind. So I also support his fundraising campaign for deafblindness, the cause of deafblindness. So I would like to not making it long, so I just want to get inside. So talking about Nepal, so we started working from 2010 around in Nepal, and then we have a partnership since international afterwards, and we are working together in a national consortium. We call it National Research Center. We have 4 partners there, and we majorly work on. So most the important thing is about the identification. For that, advocacy is our prime focus. And then also we work with deafblind youths, and we also support the capacity building of adults network and their organizations. And also another part is our network is growing. So third is our network stuff. And fourth thing is the coordination. The coordination with the government in various level. So these are the 4 key areas we are focusing while we are working with people with deafblindness in country. So looking at the context, Nepali context is quite different, maybe quite different than other countries. So when we talk about the disability, in the beginning, it was only 4 categories of personal disabilities mentioned in the category. And deafblindness was not there. So in 2006, actually, deafblindness was mentioned as a separate category in our country. But again, people have very few awareness on deafblindness. The understanding level is quite down, so it was quite difficult for getting services. So now looking at the service level, so the National Resource Center has worked very hard to bring some services for people with deafblindness in Nepal after we formed that National Resource Center. So due to our advocacy and support from Sense International and Sense International India, so it's a joint cooperation actually. We get ideas and supports because they have a long history working in deafblindness. So we get that benefits from their experience actually. So we had a Disability Right Act, new act in 2017, where deafblindness is mentioned several times in the act. and also in some of the services or education part, deaf blindness is specifically mentioned over there. So talking about the most important thing, communication. We are working a lot on haptic signal, which is quite new for us, and for I think it's for many countries in Asia. So we are very grateful that we have developed a haptic signal for person with deaf blindness in country, and also we are working extensively in tactile communication. So in communication, we are working to make deaf-blind people easy so that they can create their voice, raise their voice. So talking about the service level, we are now working with more than 100 adults and more than 40 parents in organization level. So now we have a program in 4 districts in country. So we have a very phenomenal exemplary daycare center in Kathmandu, which is run by the Parents Association. So daycare center is now run by the parents themselves in Kathmandu. Now we have on the modality we use resource center, which established resource centers, and from those resource centers we are providing a community-based rehabilitation center, some services, home-based services as well. So these are the example of what we have set up in country. These resource centers also work intensively on identification of person with deaf blindness. So I think these are the things that we have done in country. So we are confident that we are doing, we are in moving on the right path. So recently, just 4 days back, so I was part of a team. So we went to Rupandehi actually, so nearby area of border area of India. So there's one district called Rupandehi. So we recently established a resource center in a government school for children with complex deaf blindness. So 2 children with deaf blindness are now enrolled in that resource center. So just we had got that achievement in country as well. So we will be looking for a similar kind of modality in 3 additional districts so that we have more government support on education for children with deaf blindness as well. So we in country we are working on capacity building. We have a very strong deaf blind adults organizations that is called Deaf Blind Association Nepal. So one of the things that we are focusing is the capacity building of Deaf Blind Association Nepal, because we believe on that we believe that deaf blind movement in Nepal should be led by the deaf blind people themselves. For the time being, for the certain time, because of the capacity, maybe we can support. For a long run, we want them to be capacitated so that they can run the project or they can run the movement in country. So we are very much specifically focusing on the capacity building of the Plan Association as well. And also, it is good pleasure to inform you that now in Nepal, the Deaf Blind Association and the Parents Association is recognized by the government. And also government started to support this organization by providing funding. So just this year, actually, so we've been able to get 800,000 rupees support from the government to the Parents Association. So just to inform you that when we had the National Federation of Deaf, as we are a National Federation of Deaf people, we started from getting 300,000 rupees from the government as support long time back. So now this is initiated for the Parents Network as well, Parents Association as well. So which is a good achievement. So another key aspect is about the human resource development in country. So for that, we are getting lots of support from the Sense International India. And we are training our staffs, we are providing support to our partners on developing the human resource. So we are very thankful to Sense International India for their support on this human resource development part. And also we are very thankful for their trainers, for the expert for coming to Nepal time and again for supporting our running the training, supporting on capacity building. And also we hope that this will continue in future as well. There are many challenges when you talk about achievements today. I'd share a lot of achievement, but there are many challenges as well. And so what we think is that the deafblind movement should be an integral part of the disability movement. So there are various disability organizations, like there is a National Federation of Disabled Nepal as well. So whenever we talk about the overall disability movement, deafblind movement should be there. And now we see that deafblind people are being part of, or parents are being part of those movements. So for that also, we are trying our best to give the platform for deafblind people and the parents. So this is what we are doing best at our level. So another part is the challenge that there is in policy, in regulation, we are very good at in country. So like the policy also talk about providing the interpreters, so providing the tactile sign language interpreters as well. And also various policies are now on the process to be developed. So various policies, we will work together for the achievement of or the rights of deafblind people to be specifically mentioned over there as well. So talking about the disability perspective, deafblind perspective. So very specifically in the new regulation on disability, deafblind is quite mentioned over there. So in education, in employment as well. So there are three level of government in Nepal after we have a federal system in country. So in local government level, there are discussion ongoing on how to promote employment for person with deaf blindness. So there could be some kind of vocational skills or like farming, goat keeping, something like that. This could be something to start with. And we are trying our best to advocate the local government so that they can provide support to the people with deaf blindness to start their own business or something like that, so that they could be independent. And we are very much hopeful that this will be a successful program as well. So what I would say at the end is that there's a lot work to be done, a long journey to be worked together, and we hope that we'll have a partnership and support from Sense International and Sense India for this long journey. And as a being a representative of National Federation of Deaf Nepal, so as from my personal side and from my organization level, we are very much committed to support the deafblind movement, and we are very much committed to bring the issue of deafblind people in the front line, and we'll be always be supporting them to be a leader. At the end, I would like to thank for this opportunity, for giving us the space to share our achievement on deafblindness in our country. I would like to conclude my remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, KP. Thanks a lot. Excellent. Very, 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 I would say, exemplary work being done by the colleagues in Nepal, the way they have included people, government officials in the work with people with deaf blindness is amazing. And we congratulate you for that success. Please send that magic wand to other countries, to India as well, so that our government officials can also become passionate and supportive like your government in Nepal. So thank you very much for that. Now moving on quickly to the main attraction of the evening, two young girls, two young ladies who are going to shake us all up with their speech, with their words, with their dreams, and with their expectations. They're going to share with us. And I request, first of all, Shruti, who is our advocacy officer, but more than that, she is a qualified physiotherapist, first deafblind physiotherapist in the world. And she gives her skill, she supports young children with multiple disabilities with her uh, skills as physiotherapist. But today she is going to talk about herself. So over to Shruti. It will take some time because my colleague Deepak is working on a different platform with her. They are working on Skype. Whatever is going on here is being conveyed on Skype by Deepak to Shruti. Shruti reads that, and then now she will come online.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Shruti Rata Singh from Sons India. And so I myself am a person with deafblindness who have progressive deafblindness. And now I am a advocacy officer in Sons India. I will share about my experience earlier. That earlier I was not so outspoken while in school days, and that's why I faced a lot of problems. Actually, I did not have proper guidance on how to be outspoken and to be self-advocate. But now, through the guidance in Sons India, I can speak out and be a self-advocate. And now I can see difference that it made. Earlier, it 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 was like I was too quiet whenever some discrimination happened. But now I can speak out, and the people now recognize my talent. Well, I do not want every other deafblind in India to go through what I have gone through. That's why I am advocating for them and want a better future for them. So now, about deafblindness, we know that it is a isolating disability, and it separates us from society. Well, there has been in over the years there has been much improvement in life of a deafblind in India, but there is still a long way to go because we are still not able to practice all our rights. Still, we feel rejected in society and community. And this world is changing at a fast rate, and it is important that we also are included in it. Well, no. Technology has played a very important role in our life. It has given us more chances of interacting and being in and living independently. But there is a problem with it, which is about the cost. This good technology comes at high cost, because of which most of the deafblind people do not want are not able to use it, or they are afraid that they will not be able to afford it again. So, and we in India we are still not counted separately, and deafblind people have not been counted. But the achievement is that government has recognized deafblindness under multiple disability in 2016 RPWDF, because of which we have some legal rights, which but still it has not been properly implemented, and many people who are seeking employment still get rejected. And myself being a woman with deafblindness, and there are also lots of women in India who have deafblindness. We rely on tactile inputs, that is, we communicate through touch mostly, and that is why we are not able to go out and for get educated more and get proper employment, because there is a big concern of safety. While other people with disability struggle with accessibility, women with deafblindness in no, mostly struggle with safety along with accessibility. This issue has not yet been addressed well, and this thing should be addressed globally. Then, now, because of this safety concern, our parents, families of many girls with deafblindness are still not comfortable and in sending the girls with deafblindness away from home for education and employment. We, everything needs to be addressed, and also United Nations bodies should notice us and should also include us in planning. Other, well, during this pandemic, many people have lost jobs in general, but now as time passes, government has allowed others to many to resume their jobs, but with guidelines. And people with deafblindness who lost their employment are unable to join back, because we all rely on tactile inputs, and that is why maintaining social distancing even during this pandemic is difficult, and it is important that government should address this issue and come up with plans on it. Well, there has been improvement and progress in life of deafblind. There is still many things that society are not aware about. The people should be aware about deafblind and should be supporting them. We women with deafblindness should not be sitting at home idly and just because we have this disability. Okay. I have seen that because I did not speak up earlier, and so I was struggling with many things. So now I have started encouraging other young people with deafblindness to be self-advocate and to speak for their own. Negative comment from society is resulting in low self-esteem among deafblind and many people with disability, deafblindness. People need to change their attitude towards us, and we need to be fully included. Well, thank you very much. I give it back to you.
Thank you very much, Shruti. You raised some real important issues and very important points. First of all, being counted is one of the major things. If we do not count deafblind people, we are already leaving them behind. And question of attitude, it needs to change for everyone. Thank you very much for bringing in these very important points. And before I move on to today's last speaker, Asha Patwal, I would like to recognize presence of two other important eminent people. One is Irene Kelstad. She's from Atlas Alliance. They work for fulfillment of human rights of persons with disabilities in poor countries. So we are very grateful to you, Irene, for taking out time and coming here to listen to what is going on in this part of the world. And similarly, I would like to recognize my colleague from Peru. He is Ricardo. He was there up till now. Ricardo is still there. Ricardo Zivales from Peru. He is director of Sense International in Peru, doing some extraordinary work in that part of the world. So when time permits, after Asha has finished, I would request that we can have some time for open discussion. So now over to Asha, who is sitting there with two of her mentors. One is Sumanna Samuel, who brought her into this sector in terms of deaf blindness and supported her. And then Taru ma'am, who is the eyes and ears and mouth and voice for Asha. So over to Asha.
Good evening, sir. Hello, good evening to you. In America, good morning to everybody. Hello, friends. I'm advocating myself. Hello, friends. I'm Asha. I'm 16 years old and I'm studying in class 10th. I'm a deaf blind. I can't see. When I was born with the disease cataract, and I was not treated properly. There was no hospital in my village, so it was very difficult. My father brought me to Sharp Memorial Blind School in Dehradun. I got admission here. My teacher, my mentor, Mrs. Samuel, helped me a lot. She took me to Delhi for my eye surgery. My eye surgery was done and now my vision was better. I could read and write better. After that, in my vacations, I went back to my village, but I fell sick there. I had meningitis fever, brain fever there, and I lost my hearing. It was very sad. I had retina detached 2 times. I had some vision in my left eye, but I lost the vision in my right eye. There are so many people I couldn't communicate because I was low vision and deaf. It was very difficult. But who helped me? Samuel ma'am, Mrs. Samuel. She learned Indian Sign Language in Bajaj Institute of Learning. And then she came back and she taught me sign language. I started communicating with sign language. Then I joined school. I joined Bajaj Institute of Learning for my education. All the teachers helped me a lot there. And Mrs. Samuel also supported me. I thank all my teachers in Sharp and Bajaj. I hope that who is my role model? There's a famous woman named Helen Keller. Everybody knows. She was also deafblind and she made the world proud. I want to become like Helen Keller and I want to do hard work like her and want to show the world that there are so many people who helped me. But if all of you will help me, support me, then I will do so many things in my life, and my life will become better and I will achieve great heights in my life. I want to tell there are so many there are so many hobbies. I like to color, I like drawing and painting, I like reading, I like to dance also. I like to dance. I want to talk about my achievements in my life. I have won many medals. What are my aims in my life? Drawing. I have many awards and prizes at national and state level in drawing and painting. Second one, I am also athlete and I have done discus throwing also, and I have won awards in that also. In the year 2014, I got a chance to go to Washington DC to join a deaf camp, Young Achievers Camp by teachers. I went there with a deaf teacher and a deaf students. There were so many exercises, activities were done, and we stayed there for 21 days. We learned a lot there. They helped me a lot. And in Bajaj Institute of Learning and in Shar Memorial School, both the schools, I would like to thank both the school for their support to me. Now, this year in 2020, I have achieved one more thing. The United Nations Data Forum. They had a competition. There was a 1-minute video competition there, and I made that video. And what message I advocate through that video, that no one should leave behind, everybody should be included. We are deafblind, we are missed, but please help us. Include us in census. Help us. And in this video, I said that kindly include us in the data so that government can plan for us. Data is very much important. We miss in the census. I want that we must be included in the census, and we hope in the next census we are included. People don't know how many deafblind are there in the country. There may be so many deafblinds, but they are not included. They are missed in the census. I want to be included in the census. There is a problem of COVID-19 during this pandemic. There are so many barriers we are facing. But through online classes, we are learning, we are using technology to learn, to get our education. We are using technology in a better way. But there are so many children, but we have also learned from this pandemic that we have to be careful, we have to follow social distancing, we have to protect ourselves and other people also. But there are so many problems also. Deaf people find it difficult to communicate. But I want to educate, I want to show people, I want to show that world is a better place if we get support from all of us. And I have achieved the prize in the top 3 in the United Nations Data Forum. I thank Sense International also to give me that platform to win this award. Thank you so much. Okay. And today in this program, I want to thank, and I'm feeling very nice to be included in this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Asha. This has been a brilliant speech from you, from your heart. And we can see you gleaming with all the joy. Why not? You have achieved, and you definitely deserve all that gleam and shine and joy. So thank you very much for your wonderful speech, which you gave from your heart. And we'll definitely remember all those issues, all the points which you have raised in terms of being counted, in terms of making sure that the potentials of deafblind people should get unlocked so that all the talents that you have, you're able to enjoy and the world also enjoys with you. So this is, we are coming to the very end of the program. And before I close, there are a couple of things which I want to share with you. One just now shared by KP Adhikari from Nepal, that Nepal government is going to have a census very soon. And he said that he is going to run a campaign in terms of making sure that deafblindness is included in that census. So very, very well done. Go ahead, KP, and we are going to do the same in India because there is a census in India in 2021. So we also need all the strength and resources to convince our government. Before I end, there are a couple of more people which I would like to recognize further in terms of our one of the oldest partners, Mr. Gopal Krishna Agrawal is there from Basti, and also one of our first teacher trainers when we started our teacher training program, Krupa is there, and one of Krupa's teacher, Ms. Sheila Sina is here from Helen Keller Institute, and there are so many different, I can see Rajesh Mistry who is working with Samagra Shiksha, making sure that inclusive education happens for children with disability. I recognize Rajesh as well. And may I request all of you, if you want to switch on your cameras so that we can see your faces. And there are some comments also being made from various people. So I thank all of you that you have helped in many ways in terms of your discussion, in terms of what you brought to the table, in terms of your comments. And this is really a great side event, I would say, for Sense International India on deafblindness, because what we have got so far is that we are not saying that we are going to lie down and accept what is coming to us. What these young people are saying is that we will go, we will fight, and we will take what is our right. And this is a very major change for deafblind people in this country, in this part of the world, in Nepal, India, and Bangladesh. See, change of attitude. We have talked about government support and how much government needs to do. We also talked about including deafblind people in the census in there when we count people with disabilities so that we can plan better. We also talked about looking at livelihood, because only education is not the answer, but livelihood is also very, very important. All those issues have come up today, and we will definitely take it forward. I'm sure Parag has noted them down, and we will utilize and leverage our consultative status with the UN to take this further. I would request if anybody we have about 5 minutes. So if any of you would like to make any submissions, this is the open forum. Irene, if you want to say something. All right. Anybody would like to add? Ricardo, if you are there. Anyone, you can unmute and talk. 5 minutes we have. Thank you very much. Yeah, Ricardo, please go ahead.
No, Akhil and all the colleagues from different parts of Asia and India, congratulations for this meeting. I am very interested in knowing more about the work you are doing, the advocacy messages, the different Sense International India partners and beneficiaries of the different programs have made are really powerful and, of course, useful for the purposes we are looking for here in Peru, especially, and also in Latin America. From our side, just to congratulate you, and go ahead, go ahead. This is the only way to change the things for persons with deaf blindness around the world. Thank you, Akil, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. Thank you very much for taking out time. And before I finish, I definitely would like to thank and recognize the support from our very dear friend who was doing sign language interpretation for us. We have Dinesh, Sagar, Monica, and if I've missed anybody else, please count yourself in. Thank you very much for the time. I know it is quite late now. I thank the United Nations for all the support they had provided from day one to us in terms of organizing this event. And we are very, very grateful to United Nations, to CBM, particularly CBM, who have supported in terms of Shruti to make that roundtable intervention. We recognize that support from CBM, and to all our partners, to Nomanda, to KP, Dr. Punani, everyone else who came here to give encouragement to our deafblind friends. Thank you very much, and have a very safe time till we meet again. Thank you very much.